All right, so today we're diving into something that I think is probably like the first hurdle you have to get over when you start making videos. How do you record your screen and camera
Uh,
without, your computer just like completely melting down?
yeah, exactly. You want something that's high quality, but
Yeah.
if you don't have the latest and greatest computer, you don't want to be lagging all over the place.
Right. And I think that's what makes this topic so interesting. And there are so many options out there. So we're going to go deep on three specific screen recording tools today.
Okay.
We have OBS Filmora and then kind of the dark horse contender Loom. So really our mission here is to help you decide which one of these is going to be the perfect tool for you. Whether you are, trying to become the next big YouTuber, or if you're just trying to explain a quick concept to one of your colleagues at work.
Yeah, I think what's fascinating here is that they all occupy such distinct niches in the screen recording world.
Yeah.
OBS, it's almost synonymous with live streaming these days.
Yeah, and it's free, which is just like,
And not only free, it's powerful.
Yeah.
It's like surprisingly powerful.
Yeah, for sure.
So especially for YouTubers, what I love about OBS is just how much control it gives you. You can have all these audio sources. So you have your mic, you can have your desktop audio. You can even isolate sounds from like specific applications if you want. And then, of course, you can have different video sources. So your webcam, screen capture, even multiple screens.
Yeah.
And you can create different scenes, which are basically pre-programmed layouts. So you can transition between them seamlessly during your videos.
Okay, so I'm getting a little overwhelmed already, but also excited.
Yeah.
But the source material did mention that OBS has a reputation for, needing a lot of computer power.
Right.
So if you have like an older computer, is OBS just gonna make your CPU burst into flames?
I mean, it's a valid concern for sure. OBS can be pretty demanding,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but there are definitely some workarounds. Like you can adjust the resolution and audio settings to help with performance. It's like dialing down the graphics in a video game if you
Yeah.
need to get a smoother frame rate.
Right. Okay, so it's not totally off the table if your computer's a little older. Okay, so on the other end of the spectrum, we have Filmora. This is the paid option, but potentially much more user-friendly,
Right, and it's not a subscription, which is nice.
which is a huge plus for me.
Yeah, it's like perpetual.
Yeah.
You buy it once you have it forever.
And speaking of user-friendly, like one of the things I love about Filmora from my experience is that your recordings
Yeah.
automatically are in the Filmora video editor, so it just like drops it right in there.
So it's already there. You don't have to mess around with exporting and importing files.
Exactly. And that's like a game changer if you're going to do any sort of editing beyond just like basic trimming and cutting.
Yeah, especially if you want to do more advanced stuff. It streamlines your whole workflow.
And this reminds me of something funny from the source material. They were originally recording with Filmora to show how to use OBS, but then they ended up switching to OBS to record how to use Filmora.
Oh, wow.
Like this really funny loop.
It's like very meta.
Yeah.
It's like a snake eating its own tail.
But it just goes to show you there's no right or wrong way to use these tools. It's all about what you're comfortable with.
Totally.
Okay, so speaking of different approaches, let's talk about Loom. This is the one that's browser-based, so there are no downloads required.
Interesting.
I think this could be really cool for someone who's, on the go a lot. Or maybe, they're a little afraid of, like, downloading software onto their computer for some reason.
Yeah, it's definitely a good option if you're worried about compatibility issues.
So it's just, like, super lightweight, super accessible.
Yeah, I mean, imagine you're at a coffee shop. You need to make a quick explainer video for a client or something. You can just hop on Loom and do it right there.
And I think especially for remote teams, like, these days, that's huge. But there has to be some kind of catch, right?
Right.
The source did mention there were some limitations with the free version.
Yeah, that's kind of the trade-off for the convenience. The free version of Loom, you're limited to 5-minute recordings. And they also have some limits on the number of videos you can store.
And then if you want to go beyond those limitations, you have to pay for a subscription.
Exactly.
So the source specifically mentioned that Loom is really good for like quick explanatory videos with colleagues, especially since it just generates a shareable link,
Makes it super easy to share.
which is so much better than sending these big video files back and forth.
Oh my God, yeah, I hate that.
So it's really good for that like quick asynchronous type of communication.
Absolutely.
So, okay, we've got these three contenders here. OBS, which is like the powerful one, Filmora, which is like the more user-friendly editing one, and then Loom, which is the quick and easy one.
I think so far those are some pretty good summaries.
Yeah. What are your initial thoughts? What stands out to you the most so far?
That's a tough one.
Mhm.
I guess I'm really intrigued by, we'll get into it more later, but
Yeah.
Yeah, just how they all have such different strengths and weaknesses.
Mm.
And I guess we'll have to see which one comes out on top.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
So we're back. And it seems like people are really interested in these screen recording tools, especially OBS with all of its customization and stuff. I think it's safe to say that that one kind of caught your attention. But you did say you were a little worried about the complexity.
Yeah, I mean, it seems really amazing. But like I said, I'm worried I'm going to get lost in all the settings. The source did mention it's super popular for live streaming, though. Is that really where it shines?
Yeah, that's definitely where it shines. I mean, it's become like the industry standard for live streaming for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's free, it's flexible, and it has features that rival professional broadcasting software. Like you can have multiple cameras, you can have screen captures, graphics overlays. You can even have like a live chat feed running right in OBS.
So it's like having a little TV studio in your computer.
Yeah, exactly.
I can definitely see the appeal for anyone who's like seriously into live streaming, like on Twitch or YouTube or whatever. But for those of us who are a little bit more technically challenged, is there a way to like tame the OBS beast?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Remember, OBS is all about control. And that includes controlling how much power it uses. One tip that I remember from the source material is you can adjust the frame rate. So if you're experiencing lag, try dropping the frame rate from like 60 frames per second down to 30.
Oh, so I wouldn't notice a difference in the video quality.
Probably not for most content. 30 frames per second is plenty. And your computer will definitely thank you for it.
Okay, that's good to know.
So yeah, OBS is great for live streaming. But when it comes to post-production, Filmora is where it's at. You mentioned earlier how much you liked that the recordings automatically go into the editor.
Yeah, seriously, that's such a time saver. Like, I'm all about efficiency, and that just eliminates so many extra steps. But sometimes you need to do more than just basic trimming and cutting.
Right.
What if I want to get a little fancy with my edits?
Well, that's where Filmora really shines. Imagine you're recording a tutorial and you make a little mistake. With Filmora, you can just quickly cut out that mistake without having to stop the recording and start over. It's
Yeah.
like having a safety net.
Ooh, I like that, a safety net.
Yeah.
But beyond just fixing mistakes, the source also mentioned something about Filmora that I thought was really cool, annotations and callouts. It seems like that can be really helpful for tutorials and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Instead of needing a separate program to like add arrows and highlights and text and stuff, you can do it all right in Filmora. It keeps everything streamlined and it helps you create more engaging content.
Oh, for sure. That's a big plus. But let's be real, Filmora does cost money. And it might seem a little pricey compared to something like OBS, which is free. So is it really worth the investment?
That's a fair question. I think it really comes down to how much you plan on using it. If you're going to
Yeah.
be creating a lot of content
Yeah.
and you value having that streamlined editing experience,
Yeah.
then yeah, I think Filmora could be a really good investment in the long run.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, before we move on, let's go back to Loom for a minute. Even though the free version has limitations with recording time and storage, the source seemed to really like how simple and easy it is to use.
Yeah, Loom is all about simplicity. It's perfect for those quick little recordings where you don't need all the bells and whistles. I remember the source mentioned using Loom to like replace long emails with short video updates for their team.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. That would definitely be more efficient and probably more engaging, too.
Yeah, and plus Loom just generates that shareable link for you. So no more messing around with giant video files.
Right, that's so much better.
It's perfect for asynchronous communication. People can watch your Loom videos whenever it's convenient for them.
Yeah, that's huge in today's world. So it seems like even with the limitations, Loom has found a really valuable niche.
For sure. And what's interesting is that all three of these tools cater to a different type of content creator.
Yeah.
You have OBS for the power users and the live streamers,
Mhm.
Filmora for the editing enthusiasts, and then Loom for the quick communicators.
Right, like everyone has their own style.
Yeah. But the source challenged us to think even beyond those categories.
Oh, really? What do they say?
They said, we should think about the entire content creation process. Screen recording is just the first step. What comes after that? Do you need to edit? Do you need to add music? Do you need to create graphics? It's all about finding tools
Yeah.
that fit into your workflow.
I see. So it's not just about picking the right screen recording software. It's about building a whole content creation system that works for you.
Exactly.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, and that's something we can dive into a little bit more after a short break.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned for our final thoughts and some key takeaways to help you choose the perfect screen recording setup for your needs.
All right, so we're back and ready to kind of like put it all together. We've talked about OBS, Filmora, Loom, What have we learned?
Yeah, it's been a journey for sure.
It has. I think the biggest thing for me is, and the source really emphasized this, picking the right screen recording tool is only like the first step.
It's just the beginning.
Yeah.
Just like the foundation.
So let's say I've, recorded this amazing tutorial using Filmora. I've got all my annotations, my callouts. What happens next? Do I need to use like a whole other program to add music or transitions or?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it really highlights how important it is to understand, like how these different tools work together with other software that you might be using. Some people like to keep everything in one platform. Like Filmora, for example, has a lot of built-in editing features.
Right.
But other people prefer to use specialized programs for different tasks.
So like what if I'm already really comfortable with like, Adobe Premiere or Final Cut or something? Does that limit my options?
Not at all. Pretty much every screen recording tool lets you export your videos in different formats. So you can import them into any editing software you want.
So it really is all about finding that combination of tools that works for you.
Exactly.
And that's what the souls keep coming back to?
Yeah.
It's about finding that balance between quality and convenience.
Yeah, you want your screen recordings to look good.
Yeah.
But you don't want to spend hours and hours trying to figure out how to use the software.
Oh, yeah, I've definitely been there. Just like pulling my hair out, trying to get the audio settings right.
I feel
Or like converting files and stuff.
Yeah. So choose tools that you're comfortable with. If you're a techie and you love to tinker, then OBS might be perfect for you.
But if you're more of a like set it and forget it type of person, maybe Loom or Filmora is a better choice.
Yeah, exactly.
So it comes down to, your needs and your priorities. Do you want ultimate control or do you want something that's just super easy to use?
Yeah, those are the questions you got to ask yourself.
And there's no wrong answer.
Right.
It's all about what works best for you and your style.
Find what you like and run with it.
Yeah, I think that's such a good takeaway for everyone listening. Don't get caught up in the hype. Figure out what you need, what you want. Experiment with different tools.
Yeah, play around with them. See what you like.
And find that perfect screen recording setup that, lets you create awesome content.
Yeah, don't be afraid to try new things. The world of screen recording is always changing. There are new tools and techniques popping up all the time.
Yeah, who knows? You might discover something you love.
You might find a whole new workflow.
Yeah, or like unlock some hidden creative potential.
Exactly.
All right, so that's it for our deep dive on screen recording tools. We talked about OBS, Filmora, Loom, all sorts of different stuff.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground.
We did. Hopefully this has given you the knowledge and the inspiration to go out there and create some amazing content.
Yeah, go make some videos.
Until next time, happy recording.